South Africa's first diamonds, Sean and Miranda Henderson, were both professional equestrian show jumpers and have been involved in equestrian sports since an early age. Miranda's dream had always been to compete at a top level, and by her mid-20s, she had a well-known sponsor and a promising career. However, they realized that they did not control their lives, and their future depended on others. When we were introduced to this business, we were at the peak of our careers, says Sean. We saw this as a vehicle that could give us both the time and money to truly enjoy our passion. Sean and Miranda say, "This business gives us an incredible life, with time to design our lives, and as a result, help others see that life is for living." And now, Sean Henderson.
So what I'm going to chat through is some of the principles I've learned whilst building this business. I'm going to run through a whole lot of different things. We're pretty into sport and extreme sport and all those kinds of things. We're definitely into that. We're not into golf. Golf is boring. You don't get hurt. So, I mean, if you like golf, that's great. But we like doing other things. And, Miranda's not here. Like, she needs to take it easy right now. So, like, to give you an example, tomorrow she's got a 35-kilometer mountain bike race in the morning. And then at lunchtime, she's competing at a horse show in the afternoon. So, like, that's take it easy for us. And we're into doing lots of exciting things with our life. So, I'm going to run through and show you a whole lot of pictures relating to some of the things we love. But really, it's relating to some principles of what I've learned in this business. And principle number one is you want to find a dream. You want to find what the things are that give you a burn inside. One of my dreams is to get to an Olympic Games one day. My goal was 2012. It's probably going to be pushed out towards 2016. But that is a goal for me. You want to find what are the things that give you a burn inside, that get you excited about life. And, sometimes it might not be the dream. It might be the nightmare. Okay, like look at the life you got right now. I find a lot of people say, I don't feel like I have a dream. My experience is, make a decision of what you want your life to look like and get out there and start working towards whatever. And you will find things that excite you, that fire you up, that give you energy along the way. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a stupid fantasy about walking into a motor dealership and wearing scruffy clothes and buying a decent car. Anybody ever had that kind of a dream? Well, I did it recently, actually, by the way. I needed a new car, and my car was in being serviced, and so I wanted to go and get a new car, so go and order it. And so I climbed on my mountain bike, and I cycled down to the dealership, and I went and bought my new car. And the lady said, "How are you going to finance it?" Because just to order this in South Africa, you got to put down dollars just to order it and whatever. And she said, "How are you going to be paying for it?" And I said, "Cash. Don't everybody buy cars like this with cash?" And anyways, I actually, the car came before our bonus arrived. For a few months, I actually had to put a bit of money on, but ultimately it was paid off in cash as soon as the bonus arrived a month later. And she said at the end, she went, "You are the first person who's arrived on a bicycle and bought a car cash." That is unbelievable. So I don't know what the dreams are that fire you up. I mean, for us, we don't live in an executive diamond home, to be honest. For us, after we had our incident, we had to own an investment townhouse in about the safest part of Johannesburg. It's just a 3-bedroom townhouse, good apartment. It looks awesome. It looks great. For us, we are absolutely fired up about being debt-free. We became debt-free this last year. The only debt that we have is investment properties that we own. And for us, that is unbelievable, to just not have to think about money ever again. I would way rather have, for us, our house that we have right now than some mansion and have to be paying the bank every single month that we don't own. So you find your dream. You find what fires you up. For me, one of my goals ultimately is to get to a level of where Mitch and Deirdre built their business, found as Crown Ambassador, and so that's my number plate on my car. It is one of my goals that we are working towards, that we are in the process of becoming. You find what fires you up, you find what excites you. Okay, great. You want to have a dream, you want to have something that excites you to move forward. After that, you need to go through a bit of a process to build this business, because you're going to have to learn some things, you're going to have to go through some things to make this thing work. And so maybe let me start off by, like, step number one is, the chances are that you're definitely going to have to humble yourself. And I recently had a humbling experience just a little while ago. I learned how to surf. And this was quite funny. We were on holidays with a few friends. And I said, hey, I want to go to surf school. Like, I want to learn how to surf. And they had seen surf school on the beach. And they were like, we're not learning how to surf. So I was the only one out of the friends who chose to go to surf school. So, like, what it is it's at the busiest beach in a place called Plettenberg Bay. Like, beat as many people as this, like, just crowded around you on the beach. And so here's how it works in surf school. There stands me and a whole lot of kids that were like 10, 12, 13 years old. And me. So they make you stand in a row. So we're standing in a row on the beach. And of course, you're standing up. Everybody else is lying, on the beach, sitting around doing their thing. So they say, okay, draw a line in the sand. So you draw a line in the sand like this. And they say, okay, lie down. You lie down. They say, step one is you've got to be able to paddle. So now you've got to paddle. You've got to practice paddling with the 10-year-olds. Really exciting. Everybody on the beach going, what are you doing? And they say, next step is after that is you've got to land, practice standing up. Now you've got to do this on the beach in front of everybody. And sitting right in front of me, right here, was my friends. Having the most entertaining day. Watching me learn how to surf or practice surfing in the sand, full of sand, 10-year-old kids. 2 days later, I could stand up on the surfboard. I was surfing. My friends couldn't. My advice, suck it up and get over yourself. It's great advice. One of the guys in our group, I've got huge belief, him and his wife, I think they'll be diamonds one day. He's a psychologist. And he has a great way he's a real sanguine, easygoing kind of guy. But he has a great way, it's somehow in his talk always just spinning around and saying, but you know what, I can give you some advice as a psychologist. Suck it up and get over yourself. And I know it's pretty harsh. If you don't mind, I'd like to be harsh. I'd like to be honest today and give you the real principles of what this thing is about. But just get over yourself. I mean, relax. This is Amway, eh? Yeah? Okay? So the point is, you're going to have to humble yourself to build this business. And I tell you, in my experience, the more successful you are already in your career, probably the tougher it is. So you're going to have to humble yourself, whoever you are, in building this business. Here's what I know. You fight for your dreams or whatever. Most people spend more time worried about their own ingrown toenail than whether you're in Amway. It's true. So you show it, it's not for them. Who cares? You get on and fight for your dreams. You fight for your life, what is important to you. So first thing you want to do is humble yourself. The next thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. That for sure is going to happen. Like, you definitely have to get out of your comfort zone if you want to do this. And that is definitely going to have to happen. Definitely in building this business, we had to go through things that were way out of our comfort zone in getting going. 60 no's in a row. That was tough. I can tell you that was out of our comfort zone. You're going to have to go through it in every part about building this business. And there's times when you're going to really feel like you look silly. Like, you're going to feel like, I just can't believe like how bad that plan went or how bad whatever. Some people look sillier than others. I've learned many great principles from my sport that have helped me to build this business. And I think you can apply sport towards business. But the one thing I can tell you about my sport of show jumping that I'm so passionate about is one of the greatest principles of the sport is you've always got to look where you're going. It is unbelievable how uncanny this is. I can canter down to a jump in a perfectly straight line. And as I take off over that jump, if I look left, when you're on a horse that's been schooled, that's educated, I'll sit perfectly still. I will just look left. That horse will land on the left lead like he's going left. I've done nothing. I haven't instructed him in any way except I've looked left. You jump the same jump, you look right. I have no idea. I can't tell you how that intuition works. I have got no idea. One of the greatest principles I've learned is before you take off to jump that jump, you need to know exactly where you're going to get to the next fence. Like in my sport, a horse's stride is 4 meters long. You want to adjust that horse's stride to within an inch. So you've got a horse's 4 meter stride. You want to judge him to take off within an inch of the perfect spot to jump that jump at enough rhythm, at enough speed to get him to do that. Between, as an example, in this picture, this jump and the next jump, there was only 4 strides. So you've got a 16-meter period to adjust your horse to within an inch of the perfect spot of taking off. If you are not 100% precise when you jump this, you can't get to where you're going. It's the same as this business. You need to know where you're going. You need to look ahead at what your goals are. What is the goals of where you want to go? Where do you see the picture? Where do you see yourself being a silver producer, being an emerald, being a diamond, being a whatever? You need to have a bigger picture of what the goal is that you're striving towards, and then break it back ultimately to exactly where it is that you want to be right now. Now, let me tell you how I got to ride horses. Maybe the next principle, probably one of the most important principles of this business. When I started riding when I was 10 and kind of got going, and I rode ponies, and I was not that very good. This is the truth. I used to go to the horse shows. When I was 13 years old, I used to introduce myself to the ambulance man and tell him there was a good chance I'd be going home with him. Okay? This is not true. I mean, this is not untrue. I mean, I'll give you a quick little aside principle about my sport. Maybe I'll just quickly tell you about my 3 worst falls. My one worst fall was when I was still in children's. A pony cantered down to a jump and ran out. My leg hooked on it, and I flicked over and I landed on my back on the corner of the metal upright. And I just couldn't feel my legs for a day. So that was kind of scary when you're 12 and a half, 13 years old. I mean, that was one of them. The next one happened as I actually climbed on a horse, and as I put my left foot in the stirrup to jump up, it bolted and ran, and I swung underneath it, and it came down and just basically snapped my ankle. That was a pretty sore one. And my actual first fall that ever happened, I'd only ever been riding for 2 weeks, and the pony stopped at a jump, and I fell off, got my foot stuck in the stirrup, and got dragged around the arena being kicked and internal bleeding and all that. And then, I've had loads of other falls where you canter down to a jump, something goes wrong in the air, and you fall, and the horse comes down on top of you. And, they weigh about 850, 900 kg, so that's, kind of heavy. So, if you didn't know. Figure it out. What would you rather have? 850 or 900 kilograms fall on your head, or you go and show this to somebody next week and they say no? Thanks, not for me. Bang, into the ground. You decide. What would you rather have? Okay? And so, you need to know that that's one of the things. You're going to have to get tough. That's one of the things of this business. The work of this business is not the actual physical work. Having coffees with people and running through the idea, that's not work. That's nothing. The work of this business is the mental attitude of knowing where you want to go, what you want out of life, that you are right. And if this is not for them, good luck to them. Let them strive towards what they want. You strive towards what you want, but you're not going to give up just because they don't think it's a good idea. You will not believe how many people I meet. They get into this business, big, much, this, that, whatever. They get one no, and they are KO, knocked out, gone. Unbelievable. You fight for your dreams whether they are interested or whether they're not interested. Make sense? Yeah. Work. This business takes work. I was not very good at 13. I was no good at 14. My father passed away when I was 14 years old. My mother really couldn't afford to buy me top horses. When I was 14 years old, I found a local guy. He bought and sold a lot of horses, and he gave me an opportunity that I could ride all these horses being bought and sold. Every other teenager my age would ride their horses probably 3 times a week, so it would be 3 hours a week in the saddle. I used to get to the stables every single day at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I stopped riding when it was dark. It was 3 to 3.5 hours a day, Monday to Friday. Saturday, 6-7 hours in the saddle. Sunday, 6-7 hours in the saddle. Every day from when I was 14 until I was 18. At 14, I was still nowhere. 15, I was starting to get there. I was just hitting the top ranks in the teenage category. 16, winning. 17, I could face the wrong way and kick anybody's butt. I was less talented than every single one of those people, of those that I competed against when I was 14 and 15 years old. I just outworked every one of them by doing more in one day than what they would do in a whole week. Learn to create a work ethic. Everything in life is going to take some work. This business is really hard work for a short period and then take the rest of your life off and spend the rest of your life doing the things that you want to do with your life. But I'm telling you, this is going to take work, but for a period. High grade question. How many of you right now have realized that you're working already? Doesn't it make a whole lot? I mean, my experience is 99% of people's careers, you start the month at zero, you work the month, you get paid. You start the next month at zero, you rework what you did last month, you work the whole month, and you get paid. Doesn't it make a whole lot more sense to build a team once? Your first team, it's really tough. You make all the mistakes, but you have got an upline and a bit of a team hopefully working with you and guiding you. Second team, my experience, even tougher. It's the first team you're doing on your own that you've got to figure out on your own. By the time you've got that team built, you can be a Crown Ambassador. Because you can put together as many teams as you want to put together. Once you've got it mastered, you know it just takes a bit of work for a period. You build a team and you put it together. Isn't that incredible? Absolutely. Okay. So this thing is going to take some work. It's important that you know this. The next principle I learned about horses that I could maybe apply to this business is that for a period, you're going to need to get focused on this business. And often, you need to give up ultimately maybe what you want for a period to build this business so that you get enough money and time that you can spend your time doing and your money doing what you want to do. And I'll just give you one example of this. When I got back to South Africa, I had a young horse which I produced and had along, but he was never a top horse. It was a grey horse that I jumped and still jump. But I didn't have any top horses. And so it's pretty frustrating, you know, when you are like, you can ride at top level, but you don't have the equipment to ride at the, you know, to compete there. You know, it's like take Casey Stoner, like unbelievable motorbike rider, but put him on a 50cc, he's not going to be that competitive like in the MotoGP. Okay, so like kind of similar example. And we were building the business. We were fired up about the business. We were fired up to be diamonds. Diamond was a priority for me. When we were at about the executive platinum level, I got offered the number one horse in South Africa, the best horse that was in South Africa to ride. Like it was sponsored, it was a sponsored ride, I was going to be paid to ride it. But this is what it meant. It would have meant at that stage probably about 3 hours training a day, because the horse wasn't at my yard, I'd have to drive there, train. So it was about 3 hours a day, like 4 days a week, and I'd need to be at competitions 3 weekends of the month for sure, and at their beck and call. If there was a weekend conference on and there was a major competition, the sponsors would go, you'll be here at the competition. Like, I don't care what other priorities you have. This was the opportunity to be number one in South Africa, like horses, whatever. I turned it down. It wasn't even a consideration. For me, it wasn't, because I knew that I wanted to be a diamond. Gave it up. Said no. In my sporting industry, people laughed at me. What are you doing giving up things? They gave the horse to somebody else. Guy went on. He was the number one rider in South Africa for like 3 years. He was the number one horse in South Africa and all those kind of time, whatever like that. Tough. Fast forward the picture just a few years later. I own that horse. Cash. He is as good as, better than that other horse that I had. That horse there would be worth 200,000 Aussie dollars at least right now. Mine. Not some sponsors, not somebody else's who can take it away whenever. You've got to give up what you want so that you can ultimately have in abundance. Miranda has an equivalent horse. It's a young horse, probably the most or second most talented young horse in South Africa. Also be worth 200,000 Aussie dollars equivalent in South Africa. Exactly the same thing. You give up ultimately to have an abundance of what you want later. You're going to have to do that. One of the things we've learned in this business, simplify your life so you could spend the time just on the priorities to get you what it is you want out of life. For me right now, Miranda and I have the money and the time that we could spend our life doing whatever. For us, right now in our life, number one goal is for us to executive diamond. It's our next goal. It's our number one thing right now that we are excited about in our life. For us, for me, my number two goal right now in my life is to be in the top 3 in South Africa with horses this year. Like, definitely can nail that one. And number 3 priority right now is like I'd like to be in the top 10 in our country in mountain biking in my age group by the end of the year. But that is number 3. Like, if ever the training I need on the bike needs to get in the way of me being a founder's executive diamond, then I'm not going to ride the bike. I want to be that, number 1, and these other things are priority 2 and priority 3. I learned you need to prioritize ultimately what is important to you for what you really want out of life to really get it. You're going to have to pay a price. I'm sorry, this is the honest meeting. I'm being straight with you. But here's the good news. This business is not a life sentence. We have the opportunity right now to at least grow our business by 50%, if not double it, between now and August next year, by Miranda and I just having a burn. Because while we are focused in just a couple teams, we are setting the example in multiple other teams that we're not even having to work in, and so our business can multiply in just a short period. Isn't that exciting? Yep, absolutely. Okay. Association. Association is a key in this business. Association, when you read some of John Maxwell's stuff, John Maxwell says that you'll become like the people you associate with. When you read Robert Kiyosaki's things, he says, who are the 5 people you are most around, and they are the people that you will most likely become. Okay? Now, I want to ask a question here. Except for the emeralds and except for the diamonds, who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? And the chances are those are the people whose thinking you're going to get sucked into. Those are the people's financial options that you're going to get sucked in. So let me ask a question. Stick your hand up if you spend your most time with 5 people that are already very successful, as Robert Kiyosaki would call it, be business owner thinking. Stick your hand up if you spend your time with 5 people that are like that. Okay? How many people is that? 3 or 4. Okay? Can I tell you what Miranda and I do? This became a conscious decision. Do you know who the number 1 person is I spend the most time with? Miranda. She's a B business owner. She's a B business thinker. Do you want to know who the number 2 person is that I spend the most time with? Jim and Nancy Dornan. Every day, put it in my car. CD player. It's playing in my ear. B business thinking. I'm into his thinking every single day, every single week. Let's go down the line. Mitch and Deirdre Sala, listen to their CDs all the time, over and over and over. I've heard Design to Get Good at hundreds of times, heard multiple of these CDs hundreds of times. Paddy Reynolds. And for me, the 5th person would be Andy Stanley. He's a B business thinking guy, and they would be the 5 people that I would spend my most time associated with. You become like the people you associate with. So let me ask the question again. How many of you spend the most time around B business thinkers? Stick your hand up now after what I've just told you. Do you get the point? You become like the association. That's why you need to get into that thinking of the people that have built businesses like this. You can just think about the people you've got inside just Australia here who built monster businesses. When you get into that thinking, it's going to enhance whatever it is you do right now in your career. My suggestion to you is that some of you are going to leave this weekend conference and say, good business, I'm not sure if I'm ready. Here's my suggestion. Make a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to stay in for the next 4 months. I'm going to give us 4 more months of being around the people. Others of you are going to say, I'm in, I want to move this thing forward, I want to fast track my life. For me personally, I'm just telling you what I do. I need to be honest. Remember, this is the honest meeting. I need to be straight up and down with you. When I leave a weekend conference and I'm building a team, I look at who in this team has committed to being part of the inner team for the next 4 months. Those are the people that I'm going to commit my time to helping them. Next principle I learned about this business. Kind of learned this from horses. You can't make a donkey jump. I've heard it on some of the CDs. Chickens don't fly like eagles. Yeah? I believe anybody can be an eagle. But the point I'm really trying to tell you is that as you build your teams, you're looking for the right people. You're looking for the people that want to soar. You're looking for the people that are winners. And that is one thing Miranda and I learned about this business. Is as you're building teams, you're looking for the right people. You're looking for the right people that are going to make decisions and go on. I mean, I'll just give you an example. This is a couple right now that is in our business that is setting up to be diamonds next year. His background, he was a managing director of one of the more successful public companies in South Africa. Very successful couple. And it took us a long time to sponsor them. He was very negative initially, loaded him CDs for many, many months till he finally got in. Took a long while to get going. But once they made a decision, boom, there you go. These guys have only been in the business, 4 years. And, they're very big emeralds. They got downline founders emeralds. They got multiple people setting up to be emerald next year in their organization. It's about finding the right people. I didn't make Andrew and Claire build a big business. I coached them and steered them. That one of the principles I've learned is find the right people while you're building a team. Everything we do in building our business is about finding the right people. You know, we are very big in our team about ladies doing the product get start, to go in and do the product get start. Do they go and do the product get start just so that you can get PV every single month? No, they go and do that to build a relationship so that you can build an ongoing business forever. They go and do the product get start so that so often we find out of the product get start, they get a rapport with the ladies and they run through other products work and whatever, and the ladies say, you know what, we should show this to my other friend. Now they're networking as a result of product. You driving your business, everything is you're trying to get led to find the next person. So to me, you're not just going to see somebody to show them product so that you can get PV. You're going to go and show people product so that you can build an ongoing network. Does that make sense? That's just one example. Everything you're doing is you're trying to find the right people. You're trying to find the right people. Find the right people. They go on and build a huge business, whether you're there or you're not there. Isn't that what you ultimately want? Yeah? Okay. That makes sense? Okay. Good. So, momentum. Momentum is a key to building this business. It's something that we have learned. When you've got momentum, it's unbelievable how easy things are. When you don't have momentum, it's unbelievable how hard it is to get things going. The leaders are smiling at me right now. The rest of you going, you know, because it's all about momentum. One of the biggest things I learned about snowboarding, Miranda and I are passionate about snowboarding. One more example, you've got to give up what you want to have ultimately what you want. My best friend, every year, from me starting our business until I was a diamond, went overseas for the snow 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a year to the snow. I asked if I could take him to the airport. Every day I'd take him to the airport like that. I have a lump in my throat. I want to go snowboarding one day. I want to be a diamond. When I was an emerald, I could afford to go snowboarding. I didn't. You give up what you want to have what you ultimately want. I'm going to go snowboarding one day. I'm going to go snowboarding one day. I'm going to go snowboarding one day. The year we went diamond, that year, when I looked at the combined time we spent in the snow, we spent 8 weeks in the snow that year. I spent more time in the snow than people that live in the snow. The next year it was about 5 weeks. This last year it was about 5 weeks. We've already just come back. January we had a nice long holiday in the snow, and we're going to be in the South African snow. It's a funny little resort, in just not too many months' time. And end of the year we'll probably be back to the snow. And it's one of our dreams. Here's what I've learned about snowboarding, what I've learned about skiing. Momentum is your friend. When you are learning and you want to turn, the slower you go, if you're like, as an example, wanting to turn the snowboard and you want to do a turn, when you're going slow, the more edges you hook and you fall. Okay? And it hurts sometimes. Okay? It's not as bad as a horse falling on your head, but you can get hurt sometimes. Okay? But when you go a little bit faster, it's easier to turn. You need to go through the phase until you get that confidence to go a bit faster so that you can ultimately be able to turn better and better as you go along. Same as your business. You need to put in a burst to get momentum. Momentum is your friend. Once you've got momentum, it's so easy to start to steer the ship towards ultimately wherever you want to go. One of the things that I would suggest to you, it's what fast-tracked our business when we got started. You want to leave this weekend, you want to fast-track some results, you create a burst. Biggest mistake I find people make in this business, they spend their life looking at their group. They want to be mother hen. They want to bark, sit around, oh, you all okay? No, everybody's okay, whatever like that. Here's how you lead. You turn around, turn your back onto your group, and you head off in a direction, and the right people will follow you as you come along. My advice is you want to fast-track some goals leaving this weekend conference. You personally add 20 people down the next weekend conference. That will absolutely fast-track, and the right people out of your little chicken hen you got, bark, those people you got there right now, the right ones will follow with what you do. You lead by example, the right people will follow you. You set up and create some momentum, the right people will start to follow you and they will create momentum. Now it's not just you creating momentum, it's you and some followers creating some momentum. I find it all the time. People spend their life sitting around over there, people, like this. Yeah? You ever done that? Yeah, we've all been in management stage of building the business at times. This is about leadership. This business is about leadership and about you doing the right things. Okay. We recently got into cycling, and like in the last year and a half, hey man, can you believe it? A guy with a gaming hand can do all of these fun sports. Isn't that unbelievable? Yeah? Okay. I mean, these are just some of the things that I like. Gee, I'm absolutely loving it. What a great sport, and really kind of getting into it. And Miranda had to learn a lot of the things the hard way. And like I used to do motocross as a little kid just for a short period, so I kind of had a bit of like bike skill and stuff. And for poor Miranda, like she had to really learn. I rode BMXs when I was a kid and stuff, so I learned how to hop onto pavements and stuff. And I'll never forget, like we got our mountain bikes. We'd only been riding for a little while, and I went flying down one road, and there was a pavement, and so like we were going with a bit of speed, like probably, I don't know, 25, 30 k's an hour, and I just bunny hopped the speed onto the pavement. I wasn't even thinking, like we were just, I was on the road and there, whatever, and Miranda was behind me. She just saw me go that way, so she went that way. And if any of you ladies don't know this, I just want to help you with your marriage, help you with your health, help you with everything. Don't hit pavements at a 45-degree angle without knowing how to bunny hop at about 30 k's an hour. You go flying, okay? So, like, one quick thing to learn. But Miranda's unbelievable how she's learned and she's come along, and we love doing extreme things. And one of the things is on a little local ride that we have. It's just down the road from our house. Is along this river here. There is this stream. It's quite a deep little stream. It doesn't give you much perspective. And the only way to get across it is they've built a seesaw. So it's not very wide, okay? And what you do is you ride up it. Now, you got cleats on, so you can't, like if you're losing your balance, you can't just take your feet off and put it down. You cleat it into the bike. So you ride up it, and you keep riding slowly, and then the seesaw goes down, and you ride down the other side and whatever. And there's Miranda riding over the little seesaw, going across there. Isn't that unbelievable? You should give her a round of applause. That takes guts, eh? And there's so many great principles you can look. You can think about this. And Miranda was really scared to ride over this the first time. And here's what I said to her. And this is such a great principle about building this business. I said, if you want to ride across, you can't look down. If you're looking down, you're gonna wobble. You're gonna do all those things. You need a little bit of speed. You need a bit of momentum to keep the bike straight. And I said, you've got to look across to the end of where you want to go. Look to the end picture of where you want to be, and that momentum will take you across to ride across the bridge. Do you get the point? And the thing is, you want to always be looking ahead to where you want to go. Take that same principle and apply it to how this business works. You only want to be looking to where you are going. One of the things I've learned, that people make a mistake. They look at Bob in some other team and they say, oh, Bob is growing twice the speed I am. I must be a loser. Here's what I can tell you. I've seen people get started unbelievably fast and along the way hit challenges. And it takes them time to get beyond that next point. I've seen other people, like Miranda and I, take a long time to get going, long time to figure this thing out. Ultimately, then, we sped forward after that. And so some of you are going to hit challenges earlier on, some of you are going to hit challenges later. Stop looking at what Bob is doing in his team, and you focus on your dreams and your goals and where you are going and what is a priority to you. He's going to hit his snag sooner or later, and if you keep looking at what he's doing, you're going to lose track to where you're doing. Focus only on where you're doing. Focus only on your line of sponsorship. The only people that have a vested interest in you and your business, in growing this business, are the people upline of you. They are the ones that want to see you succeed. Does that make sense? Yeah? And so, very important that you focus ultimately only on where you're going, only on what is a priority towards you, on your line of sponsorship. Together, we make this business work. This business here today, I mean, I keep talking a lot about my uplines and whatever. Trust me, your uplines are equally unbelievable, equally great. I'm talking about my uplines a lot here today. I tell you what, you want to be sold out to your uplines and your lines of sponsorship. My experience is that if you show unbelievable loyalty to your upline, people will show unbelievable loyalty to you. You show no loyalty to your one or two uplines and you focus on that guy up there, you'll have people in your team that will do exactly the same. They'll copy what you do. Whatever you do duplicates in this business. And so one thing I learned was if I wanted to be big in this business, I needed to be number one loyal guy to Paddy Reynolds. Number one. And here's what I can tell you. I've learned this. You can replace any downline at any time. You've got one upline. Get loyal. Get sold out. Unity, what makes this thing work. We together do not compete with one another. We need to egg each other on in other teams, and good luck with what you're doing. But you need to be loyal and sold out to your line of sponsorship and to your uplines and to your teams. Unbelievably important. And I'm just telling you this. I've just observed this. And if you're new, sounds weird, whatever, I want them to know that I want to be one of the key people in their team. It's one of the things I've learned in this business. Loyalty works. You've got to humble yourself to get what you want. And you know what? The people that do that are the people that get the most loyalty from their downlines. Servant leadership is what makes this business work. It's one of the great principles about growing this business. So it's just one tip for you guys. This is something for you. This can help you in growing your business forward, in helping you be able to fast track what you want. Teamwork. Teamwork is what makes this thing grow. My experience is, as you build a team, you need to lead. Like you set the goal or whatever your goal is, you start to move forward. The right people will start to follow. You take those people that are starting to follow and you create an inner team in your team and you work together towards the common goal. Something we're very big on in our business, like in a team, ultimately every week you want to have a team meeting. What is the goal? How many people are we going to sign up this month? Who do we need to go and do a follow-up with? A get start with? Who needs to get a product get start? How do we do everything? As a team, we grow this thing. My goal is that, I want to lead as I'm building a team, but I need to set the example for these people so that they can lead their team and their second teams and multiple teams as you go along. Teamwork is what ultimately gets your business to grow. Cycling. I'll talk about cycling again. I've done a whole lot of mountain bike races, and I'm really enjoying this. It's really, really good fun. And just of late, road races, just to keep my fitness up for mountain biking. And so I did a road race just a few weeks ago, and I've done a couple over the last little while, and all of them are like 100, 105 kilometer races. And it's quite funny, you get the professional level, and then you get category A, which are the top amateurs, and then you get category B, like just below those guys. So I've been riding in category B just to get started, and it goes all the way down, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to those guys too, who moan their way the whole way through the race, how tough it is and whatever, and they take 5 hours instead of 3 or whatever, I don't know. But anyways, I'm in category B right now, and that's where I'm racing. And first race I went to, I made all the mistakes. Like the group would be a bit slow, so I'd break out of the group, and then you're riding in the wind on your own, and it's really difficult. And when it finally got to the end, I truthfully didn't have enough legs to sprint to win. I was absolutely nowhere. And then the second race I did like a 70-kilometer mountain bike race on the Saturday. So on the Sunday, my legs were pretty tired, and it was a pretty windy day. And again, I made all sorts of dumb mistakes riding in the group and not being tight in the bunch and being sucked along with everybody. And that is a principle I've learned about road racing. What I've learned, read a couple books, is find the biggest guy in the group, okay, and get as close to him as you can and suck in behind him, and he's going to block as much of the wind, and as a group, you move along. And I did a race just a few weeks ago, and so the second race I did, I got dropped. We hit a hill, it's a long hill, 10-kilometer hill, and you spend a long time on that hill, 30, 40 minutes. I got dropped out of the bunch completely. I had no legs left. I'd raced the day before. I didn't stay in the group enough, whatever. I kind of left there a bit dejected, I've got to work harder, I've got to get better. Came around for my third race, I'd learned some things. So in this third race, we're 1 kilometer down the road. I found the biggest guy in the group. There's about 500 people in the group. I found the biggest guy, and I sit right behind him. Anybody else tries to come in and grab his wheel, it was wobble, wobble. They get nervous. I'm on his wheel, okay? I'm following this guy. You ride in the bunch the whole way. I followed this guy. We were in about a third of the way in the bunch the whole way for 65, 70 kilometers. All I'm looking at is his back, just working the whole way through the bunch. At about the 65, 70 kilometer mark, I moved my way up into the top 10% of the bunch, right up in the front. So if anybody broke off, I was there. But I was still in the top 10. I wasn't in the front, because if you're in the front, you're catching the wind. You're going to get tired. So you sit in the back and you find some people to hide behind, and you just go along with the group. As a group, when you're riding in the group, you get about an extra 20%. It's 20% easier when you're going along in the group. And I sat there the whole way, and when we came down to about 5 kilometers to go, there were a whole lot of surges coming, But I've got a coach, it's a cycling coach, and he told me when there's surges, jump onto the surge, but you've got to sit behind the wheels. Don't get sucked into being at the front. Don't let them push you to the front. And so slowly but surely, as there was a surge, I'd jump on, but I'd get behind, protected the whole time, covered in by the group. Surge, whatever, keep going with the surge. When it came down to the final thing, we turned into the final corner with about 1 kilometer to go, like 500 people in the group, whatever. I was in 4th place. Because I'd sat sucked in the whole way. I was there protected. Came out, sprinted for the line. I was 4th in the race, whatever. Hey, 2 weeks before, I was dropped with 10, 20 kilometers. I was 10 minutes slower than the guys who won. This race, 4th. Same guy. What did I learn? I learned to use the teamwork effect of using the team, the momentum of the team to help you to basically to be able to bring it along. How are you going to get to where you want to go? You're going to get there as a group. That's one of the things that makes this business work. Okay. Next principle. Oh, man, men, you're going to hate this one. I had a great example of this on holiday, this last holiday. Miranda and I were snowboarding, and our apartment was like a 10-minute walk from the apartment where we were, my favorite slope. And so, every day, I take a carry bag with me with a whole lot of drinks and a whole lot of water and some snacks and whatever to take up the slope with us. And so I've got a carry bag on the back and I've got my snowboard. And as we walked downstairs, I said, let me carry your board. And she, oh, thank you. So there's Miranda. She's walking along with nothing. I've got backpack on, snowboard, and off we go and walk up to the thing. And I did that on the first day, no problem. Did it on the second day. On the third day, I got to take her board. And Miranda goes, I just want to tell you something. So I said, yeah, what? She says, just by you carrying my board, when you're willing to do that, I'll do anything for you. I'm going, anything? Wow. And here's the principle. I heard this from Peter Cox once on a CD. Let me talk for a minute. Not that I'm an expert at it, but let me talk for a minute about your relationship. The chances are you are the problem in your relationship. Stop looking at your wife. You treat your wife like a princess. It's incredible how good your wife will be back to you. Ladies, you treat your husband like they're the most important person. I learned this from Jim and Nancy. Nancy spent a whole time building Jim up, making Jim believe that he could win. And I've learned it. When I make Miranda feel special, it is incredible how much harmony we have in our marriage. And whenever I'm on my own thing and I'm not focused on her, our marriage is always good, but it's not as good. Not nearly as good. And so what I've learned is, I need to be better. I need to lead by example. And my advice to you is, whether you're a man, whether you're a lady, treat your partner like they are the most important person. And whenever there's a relationship problem, I can just about always guarantee you, you can leave this relationship and you can go get into another relationship. And guess what? The next one will be exactly the same as the previous one. History repeats itself. And so I just want to tell you, find a way to work on your relationship every single day. Find a way to make your partner feel like they're number one. For me, Miranda is the most important person in my life. Number one. Number one. Her. And I make her feel special. It's incredible the dreams and goals that we can have, how we can work towards things, how we can make things happen. And so it's a great principle. And I'm just talking to you out there because I just hope there's something that I say today that can make a difference in your life and just impact something that you're doing or something that you go on. Because it is so sad, so often, to see people's lives wander off in different directions. And for most times, it's just never needed. It's never necessary. It's just because people have different priorities and they forget about the basics of what are really important in life. I look at Mitch and Deirdre. I look at the way that Mitch treats Deirdre. I look at the way Gad treats Melissa. I look at the way all of these leaders are with their wives. I look at the way Jim and Nancy are. And it's been such a role model for me. Because unfortunately, it's not like that in my sporting background. Not at all. It is such a role model what this business is. Whether you like it or not, this business stands for integrity. Whether you like it or not, this business stands for treat people right. Whether you like it or not, we stand for helping each other, making a difference. The only way you can succeed at this is to help enough other people get what they want. It's the only way. My advice to you is, if somebody right now doesn't want to join your business, treat them right. Leave the door open. Be respectful to them. Have class. And always leave the door open for later on. But you get on and fight for your dreams. They'll come in their own time. And if they never do, leave the door open that somebody else can show them the plan and they can join somebody else. Have some class about yourself. So ultimately, you need to decide what you want out of life. And I love snowboarding. I've spoken about it a few times already. I love doing extreme things. Whenever you're going towards like a decent ramp, whenever you're going towards a slider, you can't go at it half-hearted. You need to decide, I'm going to do it, okay? Fortunately, I don't have the clip with me, but in holidays now, just we went, I was going up the lift above the snow park, and there was a set of ramps. I was like, I have to do that. The first one was like a ramp that stopped about here, and there was about a meter and a half, and it was like a big like hole underneath it, like that had been cut away. So you had to ramp across and land on the other side. The second ramp along was about from me to the edge that you had to ramp across. The third one was from at least here to the end, and there was a 4x4 parked in the middle. I saw that on the first day. I said, by the end of this holiday, I've got to be good enough to ramp across that. And I did. Let me tell you how you ramp across a 4x4 in the snow. I'm going no matter what. Like, you are sold out. There's no, I wonder if I'll make it, okay? And so when you want to do any of these things on a snowboard, you've got to go at it that you're going. You don't go at it half-hearted. For us, we just wanted a different life. This business gave us a different life. I didn't want to be like everybody else. My experience is you want to be like everybody else, act like everybody else, sit in the traffic like everybody else, go to the same job or same work or own your own business like everybody else. You'll have a life like everybody else. You'll live in a house like everybody else. You'll have the same holidays as everybody else. You'll have the same crummy chances or relationship like everybody else. And hopefully your kids won't copy you. So what I want to do is give you a quick game plan. A quick game plan moving forward. This is just my little version. You want to check upline with your upline. Does this apply to you? Is this the right thing for you? Is this what you should ultimately doing moving forward? Remember, every line of sponsorship does things in different ways. So you will do things in your team different to, as an example, we might in our team or somebody else will in their team. What I'm just going to run through is just a basic plan that could maybe help you to move forward. Okay, so what is a good basic plan? Well, right now, my advice to you, you want to create a burn between now and the next weekend. You want to personally put in 5 people in March, 5 in April, 5 in May, 5 in June. 20 people. Just a suggestion. That'll fast track. Now, if that's not the right goal for you, you're going to check upline. What is the right goal for you? Just, hey, there's some numbers. You put in your numbers that are right for you. If you're brand new, and if you're not brand new, you can take these numbers and multiply it out to wherever you want. My thing is, let's say you're brand new. You're going to leave this seminar, the weekend seminar, with 2 tickets. Chances are, you and your wife. Step 1 is, you commit to the next 4 months. How many people do we need to sign up in the team? When you sign up somebody, are you promoting the weekend, how it's going to help you, how it's going to fast-track people's goals? My experience is people don't just wake up and say, I want to build this business. You're going to find the right people that are going to be the right people that want to build this thing. It's real simple. Now, this might not be your numbers. You find your numbers where your goal is, where you want to be, and you fast-forward the picture towards getting ultimately what you want. But it's just a basic idea. My advice to you is, end of this weekend, what you'd want to do is you'd want to sit down with your upline and you would want to have a look with your upline. What is the right goal for you? What is the right thing for you to be working towards? And you put something like that together. Biggest mistake I find. People leave a weekend, they're fired up, they want to change their life. Yeah, they want to move forward. They don't take 30 minutes to sit down and look at, what do I want my life to look like? What is the next 4 months going to look like? What do I want my life to look like next year, the year after, and whatever? Biggest mistake. Find 30 minutes between now and the end of the meeting tomorrow afternoon with you and your wife and put together a picture. What is it going to look like? What do you want your life to be? How are you going to go about it? And then go to your upline and book a time with your upline that you can get some of their time and get some of their perspective. Is this the right goals? How do you go about it? What do you got to do to make it happen? I think everybody wants to be a somebody. But for me in this business, I found people that I respected, and I wanted to be a somebody in their eyes. I wanted Mitch and Deirdre to know my name and know who I was. It was a dream that one day Jim and Nancy would know our names and who we were. Never mind going to live in their house and stay with them and get to know their children and be kind of like family friends almost, even though they're still our mentors. It was a dream. My advice is you need to find the right priorities in life And you need to fight for your dreams and never let your children see you give up. You need to find what's important to you. And you go fight for your dreams, and you know what? It's incredible. You'll be a hero to many people.